Omarion Hampton says, give me the ball. Give me the ball, coach. Let me be your starter. You drafted me to do so. Let's just start now. Omarion Hampton, according to this report here, if Naji misses time in camp, the possibility of Hampton becoming the lead back is even more likely. Now, this is just another beat reporter speaking, whatever they believe to be the case. But you know what we do. Whenever things don't jive with us, we'll tell you. I'll shoot it down, and that's not biased or unbiased. This is me telling you this is what I believe to be the case. And when there's reports that surface that jive with our way of thinking, then we tout it. But that is not, biased. That's just being real with the convictions of the channel and the direction of these player values. And this is honestly what's on my mind lately, because we're hearing words like Naji will be fine. He'll be fine for week 1. Why are we talking about week 1? Why are we not talking about he'll be fine on Monday morning when this thing broke? Like it happened over the weekend, Naji, 4th of July injury. We didn't hear hey, Naji's going to be fine by Monday. This is not even a big deal. He'll be okay by week 1. By week 1, are they putting a bionic eye socket in? What's going on with Naji's eye? Why did this take so long to get testing? Superficial injury to the eye? How much testing needed to be done? How much scratching is there on the retina or cornea? What's going on with the eye? No one's going to tell us anything. All we know is Hampton's more likely to get more work now that Naji is potentially injured. Now, this could be nothing. A week could go by from now, and Naji's 100%. But every little bit's going to count for this kid, Omarion Hampton, to get an edge up on Naji and to take the job over sooner. It's not a matter of if Hampton takes the job from Naji. It's a matter of when. And are we extrapolating data next year, this time next year, going, well, if you take Hampton's final 8 games and extrapolate it across an entire season, you got a top 7 running back, Smitty. We might be doing that, but maybe we're not. Maybe we just have a top 7 to 8 running back. Maybe the Triple H and Associates have their junior associate already locked in. Maybe.
In a jam, call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
Come on. Let me in. Let me in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
A lot of memes out there saying Naji never misses a season, lands on the Chargers, and then all these like fireworks go everywhere. And it's like, it's crazy to think about how these athletes are even messing around with stuff like fireworks or just leaving the house. Stay at home, play Madden. Play yourself in Madden. Eat, lift, play Madden. Eat, lift, play Madden. Rinse and repeat. What are these teams doing? Letting these guys go do anything. I'll put it in contracts. You can't play with fireworks. You can't play with your food. You can't do anything but play Madden, eat, sleep, play Madden. Rinse and repeat. In that order. Not even out of order. Just in that order. Fully control these situations. But at some point, Hampton's going to the moon. Is it week 1? I don't know. Is it week 4? Is it week, I don't know, whatever. And we've got, where's Hampton? Is he on the
moon man dropping loads.
Is he on the Mars man?
On a shuttle to Mars.
There he is, Mars
man.
Potential Jupiter man,
dropping and spinning
in 2025. It's just a matter of when he gets in there. But this news is definitely concerning, and I have lots of questions, and I don't know that we're going to get answers to these questions about Naji's eye and how bad is this thing. Now, you could say his vision's so bad anyway, maybe covering one eye up, he has no astigmatism anymore, and he can see things actually lined up. Who knows? And no one's saying that he's going to actually miss week 1 or miss any time, and no one's saying we even know what's going on, but there's a lot of unanswered questions and some weird verbiage being used. But every day is an advantage for Omarion Hampton, who's already going to take the job at some point. So just good news for Hampton, not good news for Naji. Prayers up for Naji. No one's wishing ill will upon anybody, but we are here to react about the news, stories that are out there. like this one. Michael Penix Jr., according to his OC, Zach Robinson, he said Penix Jr. opens up a different avenue within the offense, stuff that we know, stuff that we've been touting. This gunslinger, 4,000-yard passer in 2025, mark my words, 4,000, 34, 33, maybe more passing touchdowns. This is a guy that's going to load up the touchdowns, yardage, and receptions in the direction of Drake London. Drake London's going to become a top 5 wide receiver. Wait a minute. Drake London become a top 5 wide receiver? He's already a top 5 wide receiver. Look at everything he's been doing. Top 5 in red zone targets, top 5 in target rate, top 5 in air yards, with Penix Jr. pacing out at 125 receptions on 221 targets, 1,900 yards on 11 TDs in the 3-game span that they played together, divided by 3, multiplied by 17, extrapolated out. This 6'4", 215-pound monster who's 23 years old and turns 24 in about 9 days, give or take. 100 receptions, number 9 in the National Football League last year. 1271, number 4 in the National Football League last year, and tied for 9th in touchdowns and 104th in an average per catch, which is going to go up tremendously. This guy's a top 5 wide receiver in the making, and he's one of the best values in the entire second round, especially if you go RB in round 1. You get Gibbs, you get Bijan, you get whatever, you get Barkley, you get whoever you want. Genty and London go together like cheese and crackers, because this is one of those things where it's like they're sitting there paired together perfectly. You get Bijan, you might not get London. You might have to go Rashee Rice, who we love. You get a player like Genty right at the bottom of round 1, you can get London right there at the top. You might have to reach for one, reach for both, doesn't matter. These guys are going to explode. Penix Jr. to London, and what does that open up? Avenues for Bijan. Bijan's going to have 5 yards of rip. 5 yards of rip. Bijan's going to get, I think we calculated this out, Bijan's going to get 300, and I don't know, let's call it I think we said 320. 320 carries. 320 carries times 5 yards a carry. 320 times 5. That is going to be 1,600 yards rushing. Bijan. At least we said 1,550, I think, is the projection I laid out there. I think I said that he's going to get, this is my math. This is my mathematics. This is my science. This is how I science up projections for a player. You ready? Bijan Robinson is going to get you 1,550 rushing is what we're going to say. Rushing. He's going to get you something along the lines of 3 multiple touchdown games. Okay, probably 4, but let's say 3 multiple touchdown games. That's 2, 4, 6. One of these will be a 3 TD game. So we're going to give him 5, 6, 7. That's 7 TDs, 7 touchdowns on just those 3 affairs. You're telling me he doesn't get 10 touchdowns the rest of the year? That's why this is such an easy number for me to say 16 to 17 rushing TDs in 2025. And then you've got the 550-ish receiving. The who knows how many receptions he's going to have. Let's just call it 60. 60 for 550, 2 to 3 TDs receiving. Bijan is going to be an absolute straight-up legend coming off of this season. This is the year to draft Bijan 1 overall, even an underdog. When you're sitting there at 1, I'm tired of drafting Ja'Marr Chase. I'm done drafting Ja'Marr Chase at 1 overall. I've done it enough. I'm drafting Bijan. If I get the 1 pick in an underdog, promo code Smitty, we're going to be drafting tonight. Make sure you hit the link in the live chat. Hit the link in the description of the video. Code Smitty gets it done as well. Let's smash that link now. Sign up and get ready for the underdog drafts tonight. All you got to do is click that link. I just dropped it. All you got to do is click the link. I'm gonna pin it right now. They'll match your first deposit 50%. All you got to do is click it. And tonight when we go live, I'll say open up the Underdog app, go to this specific draft, hover over the green button. Let's all press it together. That's how we get in tonight. So download it and do it live. If I get the 1.1, I'm taking Bijan. Moving forward, I might mix up Gibbs and Bijan. I'm tired of going Ja'Marr Chase. I've done it enough. It's Bijan's season. It's time to draft the man that's going to run away with Everything. Every category, this guy could be number one. Touchdowns, rushing, receiving yards, receptions even. I mean, there'll probably be another receiver that is going to rival him, but a runner that's going to rival his reception totals. But this is a guy that could catch 70 balls if you wanted. Achane, 70 balls. Bijan, 70 balls. This is an easy call. Talking about who are at least the top 3 pass-catching backs in the league. Bijan, Achane. You can name a bunch of others in the mix for that category. Gump, no calls for you the rest of the show, Gump. This is the second time you've called in during my monologue. No calls for you, Gump. Rest of the show, you're not getting in. You can call till your heart's content. You just ruined it for yourself. Anyway, Gump interrupting me. Completely interrupting me. Banned for the rest of the show. Where was I? Penix Jr. to the moon. London to the moon. Bijan to the moon. It all starts with Penix Jr. Big Penix energy. And his OC's ready to let it rip. He's ready to unleash Penix on the entire league. So get ready and buckle up.
Mr. London, what seems to be the problem? I've been a little off. Can't seem to get things going, if you know what I mean.
I think I have just the thing for you, Mr. London.
Penix Jr. is taking everyone to the promised land. This piece of news here, this is just getting worse and worse for Quinshon Judkins. Now, this is nothing coming from the league or any sort of authority. And Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio has been wrong more times than I can count. But he is a legal mind. He does have some knowledge on the topic from a legal perspective. And he had talked about this on Pro Football Talk, talking about how if Judkins does sign his rookie contract, which he still could, but I think the team's going to hesitate to sign him. And I think Roger Goodell picked up the phone. He said, he buzzes. He doesn't hold the phone. Shirley, get me the Browns on the phone. Yes, sir. Okay. And then the Browns call up and say, yeah, this is the Browns. Yeah, this is Shirley. Please hold for Mr. Goodell. Okay. And then Goodell says, yeah, Browns, don't sign Judkins. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not ready to make a decision. I don't want to underpunish. I don't want to overpunish. I don't want to do any of this or that. Don't sign him. And the Browns are going to go, yes, sir. On your command. I mean, that's certainly a possibility of how this thing could be heading. But even if they do sign Judkins to his rookie contract, and the terms have changed, he's wanting guaranteed money. He ain't getting nothing now. It's either, bro, you're either on the team or you're not. You sign whatever we put in front of you. You screwed up your entire negotiating power. Judkins is either cooked or he's doing whatever the Browns tell him to do. So if he does sign a rookie deal, Mike Florio believes that the Browns running back, then newly added running back, could be placed on paid leave after he signs his rookie contract. Immediately put on paid leave. Your boy covers this better than anybody. We do the legal and the medical better than anybody, if you ask me. I might be biased, but we've been doing this 20 plus years. We break down everything. The Rice situation, the Kamara situation. We got our 2 attorneys that call into the channel. And I don't know if Wheel Snipe is out there. Wheel Snipe, dial in if you're around. But in terms of this situation, we've been saying that if he does end up signing, the commissioner exempt list paid is a very, very open avenue that can be used immediately. And while somebody might say, but Smitty, I watched on another channel and they said, according to our reports, the league lets these things play out. In the legal matters as we've seen it, I'm no judge of this type of situation. Are you, Steve? No, I don't have any information on this at all. I'm a buffoon on this as well. Yeah, well, guess what? They normally let these things play out legally before they take action. Might be the case. in a lot of situations, but not when it comes to bad optics situations like this that involve domestic violence or battery. When it comes to a female situation like this one's bad. This one is pretty bad. And I'm not saying it's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Okay, I very much believe in that. I think we need to hold that stance close to our hearts and vest and make sure we don't step too far out of bounds on this one. But this is predicting what the league's going to do, not trying to cast judgment on Judkins before he's had his time to prove his innocence in this matter. But I'm here to tell you that the league will look at the optics on this one. Photos, bruising of the lip and mouth area, bruising on the thigh, hit to the shoulder, photos presented, timestamp photos of the occurrence, when it happened, documentation when it happened, and yes, a late reporting of it after they got back from a vacation trip or whatever, but everybody judging the alleged victim, and I say alleged because it's still not something we can say is fully going a certain way. The alleged victim, you can't judge someone for when they come forward on a topic like this. That's nonsense. That's you trying to protect your fantasy football investment, if that's the way you're going to approach this thing. Oh, you can't be real because she's reporting it later. And I'm not saying that these things don't have false accusations and ways of unfolding later that's a detriment to the player. Isaiah Bond, for example, he should be innocent until proven guilty. No team will sign him. He went undrafted. He's better than Matthew Golden. Isaiah Bond and Matthew Golden, teammates. I liked and projected Isaiah Bond to be a better NFL wide receiver. And then the news broke. And then Isaiah Bond's draft stock sank. And then it became zero. He didn't get drafted. He had no draft stock. And he's still a free agent as of right now. No team will touch him. Why? Hey, Shirley, get all 32 teams on the horn here. I got to make some phone calls. And then the team started to answer. This is the Browns. This is the Colts. This is the Raiders. And he said, everybody on the conference call here, no one's taking Isaiah Bond. Is that understood? So that's why I think that there's still a possibility that the Browns don't sign Quinshon Judkins. Just because they spent a draft pick on him, they might. And if they do, the commissioner and the league can put the commissioner exempt list paid tag slapped on this guy, and then he can't play. And then he's not hitting the field. Then he's exempt list paid until this works out. That if it works out in time, and it might not, if it doesn't, he's not playing at all. If it does get ironed out in time in a speedy fashion, he's missing probably 6 to 8 games. And then at that time, our boy, our rising star, the player, this channel, your boy told you is better than Judkins anyway. Our midseason monster, Dylan Samson. I give you, Dylan, mother freaking Samson, we haven't wavered. We haven't wavered on Dylan Samson.
Mashed potatoes!
Dylan Samson's climbing. Now, I will say this. There is no guarantee that Samson even gets a crack at this thing for a little while because Jerome Ford is currently slotted as the starter, and that's not going to probably change given the complexities of the situation. But Dylan Samson will be eased into the receiving back duties. Ford will be first and second down, sharing some of the receiving back duties, the third down duties with Dylan Samson. If this thing goes awry for Quinshon Judkins and the talent that is Dylan Samson, a.k.a. Samsonite, a.k.a. the briefcase. We call him the briefcase. This guy is such an amazing phenom. His start-stop game is very Kenneth Walker-like. His ability to catch the football, turn upfield, make maneuvers, quickness is unreal. His speed's unreal. Dylan Samson's a better running back all around than Quinshon Judkins. I said this all offseason. I said it in January. I said it in February. I said it in March. I said April, May, June. Now we're sitting here, and I'm still saying it. And all he needs is an opportunity. Now, I did admit with unbiased tone and determination that this is a guy that's going to have to climb, Dylan Samson, because he was not drafted into the best situation because Quinshon Judkins was taken before him. So I'm not a blind man. I didn't say that this was going to be an easy climb. I didn't say that this was going to be something he could just, sleepwalk into the starting job. But I did tell you that Samson would be talented enough if there was a cracked window of opportunity to slip in there and take the job from Ford and from Quinshon Judkins. Just know that, Ford's going to start off with the lead dog role. And then Samson's going to be nipping at his heels, and Ford's often injured. There's a lot of reasons he could have a misstep, and Samson was the younger, exciting, sky's the limit, his coaching staff said about his receiving skills. The sky's the limit wide receiver option on this team. So Dylan Samson to the moon. This is looking very, very bad. And as I told you, as I predicted, as I said, that the commissioner exempt list paid would be the best and quickest avenue to take care of this situation. Do not listen to somebody that says this has to play out legally. It can. They can look at it that way. If the optics aren't so bad, they will let things like that play out legally, especially in civil matters. But when it comes to the optics being horrible, the league has in their pocket, the commissioner, the exempt list paid option. Why is it paid? Because there's no determination yet. That innocent until proven guilty stance that even the NFL pretends to take or wants to take, or people want to believe they want to take, is via the paid exempt list option. Once and if he signs his rookie deal, to exempt list him unpaid without being proven guilty or innocent would be a monstrosity. That would have been an NFLPA, total, case and situation that would rise up and become a big problem. But if he's exempt list paid, that's like saying, hey, come here, sweetie. Yeah, oh, poor little guy. Why don't you go over and handle your court case, okay? We'll take it from here. You don't have to worry about the team right now, young man. Just go over to the courthouse. Hang out there till it's done. We'll give you your checks. We're taking care of you. We're not taking sides here. We're paying you. Exempt list paid. Get out of here, and we'll pay you because we have to. And then if this thing goes awry, we're coming for the money. That's what exempt list paid means. So that's what's happening. You know what else is happening? Little sleeper tight end, rookie of ours, Terrence Ferguson, is getting some buzz over in LAR. This Rams tight end has a lot of upside. And there is potential breakout season according to this reporter and according to us. We've been drafting him in underdog drafts. He's a really fantastic grab. And then Jahmyr Gibbs. This is older news, but it's getting picked up by bigger media. NBC Sports talking about it now. This is something we did a live stream on. Jahmyr Gibbs said he's going to be split out wide more than he was the last 2 years. We talked about this. We did a live stream on this days ago, if not a week or more ago, but now it's getting picked up. And the reason that I haven't back yet on my screen is because now that it's getting picked up and there's more exposure to these comments and all of this, you're going to start seeing Jahmyr Gibbs' ADP climb. In Underdog promo code Smitty Drafts, where we will be drafting tonight, that link is in the live chat pinned. It's in the description of every video. It's also right here. Code Smitty also gets it done. When we draft tonight, we're getting Gibbs at 6. Sometimes 7 if we're lucky. But 5, 6, Gibbs is pretty much there. And in mom and pop, grandma leagues, your work league, your buddy league, Aunt Edna's league, you're going to probably get him at 4, 5. 4, 5, 6. Robust RB leagues, 3, 4, 5. But now this might have him move up to, on Underdog, 3 or 4 overall. This might have him in robust grandma leagues, robust Aunt Edna leagues, robust work leagues, robust water cooler leagues. It might have him climb to 2 and 3, locked and loaded, because he is the running back 2. Bijan's 1, Gibbs is 2. You could argue Gibbs and Bijan. Honestly, I could argue Gibbs and Bijan neck and neck for the 1 spot. This is going to start spreading. Now, what is being said? What does this even really mean? It means that this team has decided to throw the ball more to Gibbs. I'll tell you why. There's several reasons. No, it's not to increase Monty's value. There's people out there when this broke, they're like, Monty on the rise. What are you talking about? Monty is Monty. He has his value. He has his value, and that's that. He's not going to increase. He's not going to decrease. He's a flex play. He's a running back 3. He's irrelevant. If Monty got abducted safely by aliens today, another running back would step in and take over Monty's workload. That is what it is. It is what it is, and it's not changing. And no, we don't need Monty to go down for Gibbs to be the running back 1. You've heard that before, too. According to my data, Gibbs is just going to be hard-pressed to do what he did last year. He's going to take a Monty injury. I hated on Gibbs last year, called him no way to running back 1 or 2, so I have to double down like Donnie and tell you that there's just no way if Monty's healthy this can be a replication. Be careful. Be wary of Jahmyr Gibbs. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Monty's irrelevant. And let me tell you another thing, and that doesn't mean he's trash, doesn't mean he's garbage, doesn't mean you shouldn't be going and drafting Monty as your 3rd or 4th running back in certain scenarios, but Gibbs is going to fully eat. And the thing about this is the Lions are going to take a step backwards in 2025. There's no doubt about that. If you think the Lions are going to be a better team without Ben Johnson and 2/5 of their freaking offensive line, I got a bridge to sell you, an invisible bridge that doesn't even exist. I could sell it to you. I really could for double the price that it was yesterday. If you believe that the Lions are going to take a big step forward and not at least a couple baby steps backwards this year. Does that mean they don't win the division? Does that mean that the Lions are a trash team? Am I predicting a downfall for the Lions that's something that you can't even fathom? No. I still have them winning the division. I still have them crawling into a division win instead of lambasting the entire division, because I think that the Vikings really, they could go 10 wins. I'm tempted to make this a 10-win Lions season. In fact, let's do this now. I know that you guys are going to be unhappy about this, but I'm going to make the Vikings a 9-8 team. I just don't think they're going to be as good as people think this year, but this is still a winning record. It just is not going to be rose petals and white doves and glory the entire way. I'm going to move the Lions down to 10 wins. They'll still win the division. Again, this will be a crawling to the division win type of thing. So 10 wins and 7 losses instead of 6 losses. We'll move that. This is how I see the division. But this is still going to be like the division's up for grabs, and it's a crawling type environment. So they're crawling, and they get to the division win. They figure things out, but they're throwing a ton. They're down sometimes. They're in closer games than they expected. Goff is turning slowly but surely, not into a full-blown pumpkin, but signs of a pumpkin. Little bit of jack-o'-lantern, some pumpkin, and he's still got all the weapons, so it's pretty easy for a Goff to find some production. He's got St. Brown. He's got Jameson Williams. He's got Laporta bouncing back hopefully a little bit this year. Safety blanket. Might even have the better season than people expect because Goff's going to just load it off to Laporta. Gibbs is going to be catching the football. If this team is down or in close games and needing to march down the field in 2-minute drills and just 3rd and 4th quarter drives that are not running the rock, especially if they're having some offensive line specifically interior offensive line issues with the losses this offseason, you're going to have Gibbs getting swept to the outside, dump offs to Gibbs running routes. And just because he's lining up on the outside more, as reported right here, does not mean that Monty's in the backfield every time. This is a motion league. This is a pre-snap motion league, and Gibbs is going to oftentimes lead the backfield, line up in the slot, and run a route. And so this is good. This is in preparation probably for having to throw more in the 3rd and 4th quarter, but this is not going to be a throw more because they're so good at it. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs for the Lions. Wouldn't be surprised if they have a really sluggish beginning of the 2025 season, but Gibbs is going to ball out. Gibbs will be the least affected because Gibbs is going to pop those runs to the outside. The interior, the Monty work, the up the gut work is going to be more of the, I think, impacted territories for this offense and offensive line and running attack in 2025. Gibbs to the moon. Gibbs, but the problems I've laid out are the reasons why Gibbs does go 2 and Bijan goes 1. When I start to argue it, Bijan's got no red flags. Gibbs has no red flags directly related to him, but a couple degrees of separation, we've got problems. We've got red flags on the offensive line. Might not hamper Gibbs too much. We got red flags in Ben Johnson leaving. Maybe they run the ball more and he gets less yards per carry, but more touches overall. Maybe he gets a couple less touchdowns, but the PPR increase in receptions helps wash that. So at the end of the day, I'm not concerned about Gibbs, but there are certainly problems in Detroit that weren't existing problems last year in 2024. So get ready for that. All the news has been covered. If you missed it earlier, McLaurin not happy about this contract situation, especially off the back of Garrett Wilson's monster contract extension that he got the other day. $90 million guaranteed. Well, yesterday, $130 million extension, $90 million guaranteed. His 4-year deal. New money added to this contract. The $90 million guaranteed is the sticking point that's really going to probably drive some of the problems or maybe solutions for the McLaurin situation. McLaurin says, I want to be here. I want to make that abundantly clear, but he says he doesn't know if he's going to line up on the field on during camp. He doesn't know if he's showing up. He will. He's calling the team's bluff. There's no way this guy's going to rack up fines or anything like that, but he's not happy. And the money's tough because he's a 30-year-old wide receiver walking into week 1. 30-year-old wide receiver that's looking at a guy like Garrett Wilson and he wants similar money. He's out of his mind if that's where he's headed. Now, can the two teams come to terms, two sides of this come to terms and make him happy by wetting his beak on the front end of this deal and say, hey, McLaurin, let's not dig into the details. Let's give you a lot of upfront money. A lot of the money we're already going to give you anyway, but guarantee it. We'll give it to you up front. We'll negotiate, massage the contract around a little bit, and it's going to be more of a, hey, you're 30 years old. You better take this. This is a lot of money that you get right now in your hands. It's not what you wanted long-term, but at least you get it now. I believe that's where they go. It's where they need to go. And McLaurin's got to be objective here. He's 30 years old. He's not a spring chicken. He's lucky to be in this situation. Did he earn it last year? Sure. Did he earn it waiting around for a quarterback this long? Yeah, but he's 30 years old. And Sauce Gardner didn't make things even better by signing his mega deal, $30 million per year. $60 million guaranteed. Doesn't matter if it's a different position. It all trickles down into the contracts in the NFL and brings up that guaranteed expectation. That guaranteed money is where the sticking point is for all real contracts. That is the number that's more important, not the yearly average. Players like to flex that, but that's not the most important number. The important number is guaranteed money. Phone lines are open. Dial in, dial in, dial in. And now let's answer these super chats. One from Yen, appreciate you. We got Sam with a super chat here. We got Rich with a super chat right here. And we got Yen with another super chat. Let me read all these real quickly, and then I'll get to the phone calls. So dial in if you know the number. I'll put the number on screen in a minute. Penix, Bijan, London, new tripod. Absolutely new tripod, old tripod. Sam, this tripod's going to the moon, but maybe we do need to put it side by side on the pancake stack screen.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
I mean, this is the quad stack, right? I mean, it is a glorious stack. Look at it. Look at it. It's such a glorious stack. It really is. Look at it. The Penix Jr. and London and Bijan stack is probably, maybe we coin that the tri stack, and then the quad stack is the Burrow stack, and they're kind of the official stacks of the channel. Maybe. I mean, even the KC stack is unbelievable though. I kind of feel like that's one of the more underrated stacks in the league. Worthy, Rice, Mahomey. It's a pretty good one. And then Kelsey, it's a quad stack, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one, Sam. It's tough to narrow it down. There's so many good stacks in the league now. These two super chats here. Smitty, need to catch up on my studying in the middle of the second round. I've been drafting a lot of Nico. What are your thoughts on him for 2026? I like Nico a lot, but what it comes down to, mute yourself real quick, Scott. I'll be there in a minute. What it comes down to is, it's not that I don't like Nico. I don't love Stroud right now until he proves that he's bounced back. And the offensive line losses and issues in Houston, and then a little bit of injury concern label that I think that Nico hasn't shaken free yet, for me at least. It just puts me in a position where I see London and I want London more. I see Achane and I want Achane more. I see Genty, of course I want Genty more. So I tend to draft less Nico than I really want to. It's not that I'm down on Nico. It just comes down to, when all things are equal, there's a few things weighing down the Nico side. When it's all equal, that make this other situation, not player, not talent, but situation feel more appealing. So I end up straying away from Nico a little more than normal. It's not that I hate him. It's not that I doubt him. I think he could pop off at any moment. It could be the number 1, number 2, number 3 receiver in any given contest, but his situation is not ideal comparatively to the other situations. I know I would have missed the video, but out of the two, Hampton, Henderson, who would you rather have? Who would be more comfortable as your running back too? There's no real good answer here, Yenio, because at the end of the day, Henderson's one of my favorite players in this draft class, and he's so talented. His pass catching abilities are untapped, unknown. The sky's the limit. He could be literally an 80 reception running back as a rookie. People can laugh at that all they want, but his main job, aside from making plays and being a monster, is arguably protecting Drake May and being in there on third downs. And if he's in there on third downs, you know he's going to be in there on a rotational basis at the bare minimum to start the year, which means that he's got 1/3 of the job, right? All the third down plays. And if he's rotating the first and second down work, he's got a majority of the backfield, and that's all you can ask for. And in some cases, all you need, because this is a Breece Hall, an Achane type runner where you don't necessarily want 20 carries. You want 14 carries and 6 receptions. You want 100 total yards and 4 or 5 receptions and a strong shot at a touchdown every single game. That's what you want out of Henderson. Hampton's a little bit safer, and with the news on Naji and the fact that we just feel like we're being misled on this eye injury issue, I think Hampton's a bit safer. His ADP's higher for a reason, so cost of entry, I can make a strong argument that they're at least equal or that Hendy's got an edge because you take him a whole lot later. You take him a couple rounds later than Hampton. But in a vacuum, I'd rather have Hampton over Hendy. You just got to decide whether the cost of entry on Hampton's worth overpaying a little and then grabbing like a Debo later in the 6th or 7th round versus grabbing, so Hampton and Debo or something like that versus getting a receiver like Travis Hunter or whoever you like near Hampton's value and then getting Hendy later. So it's really kind of an equal balancing act in terms of cost of entries. Appreciate you, Yenio, for dropping that super chat. Sam, thank you for your super chat. I got both of your questions out of the way already. And now we head over to, oh man, I just closed one of them. Whose super chat did I close? I think it was Rich. Oh no, I got Rich's on screen. Rich, thank you for dropping your super chat as well. Yenio, thank you for your double. And then I've got Wavy, and then BBQ dropping a $10 hauler. Thank you both for dropping super chats. Let me fix my alerts so that when these come in, you guys see it on screen. I'm sorry about that. That's fixed. Okay, this one from Rich. Jumped into a Best Ball Mania this AM 9th pick. Channeled my inner Smitty. Amon-Ra, Genty, McLaurin, JD5, Waddle. Just when I thought it couldn't get better. Harvey, Abuka, Sharps, Hawkinson, Dobbins. How did I do? You did really good, bro. I like this. I don't love Waddle, just to be clear, but I love this team. If I could have got a Debo instead of a Waddle or something like that, I'd be a lot happier. But look, you did a fantastic job. Amon-Ra, McLaurin, Waddle, fantastic receivers. Abuka is such a nice additional piece. And to have Genty and to have Harvey, to have JD5, the cuffed wide receivers, that is a great team. Great team. Sharps in the wings. Love it. Love it. Great squad. Definitely capable of winning any sort of tournament, especially like a weeklies tournament. Appreciate you dropping that. Rate the trade. I just got Rice, Debo for Chase Brown and DK in a second. This is tough. From a redraft perspective, I do believe that Rice and Debo's better. I think you will score more with Debo and Rice this year than you will Chase Brown and DK. That is if DK doesn't go ballistic and jive with Aaron Rodgers to the tune of 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns and have a remarkable year. But even if that happens and he can play that well, DK, in year one with Aaron Rodgers, it's still very much a push in my mind. Debo is a top 12 to 15 wide receiver, top 13 to 15 wide receiver, not top 12. We'll put top 13. He could be a wide receiver 2. We won't call him 12 because that makes him the last wide receiver 1. 13 to 15, 13 to 18. It could be anywhere in that range. Rice, to me, is a top 5 wide receiver. Chase Brown is a top 6 to 10 running back, and DK is probably in my opinion, right where Debo is. You could argue DK or Debo, which one's better. So at the end of the day, if DK and Debo are a tie for me, in now thinking, and this goes for redraft, but also dynasty now mentality, you can win now. I get there's a second rounder in here, so this is not redraft. But I would probably say at the end of the day, the Chase Brown and DK side is more long-term value. And then you've got Rice getting suspended next year, probably for 4 games, 3 games, 5 games, 6 games, 2 games. We don't really know. Probably more of the 2 to 4 game suspension variety. It could hurt you next year a little bit, especially if Debo drops off. But Debo could have 2 more years. And so it's a tough call. I would say if you're going to win big cash money now, I kind of like the Rice and Debo aside, but it's really, really close. And BBQ, in my opinion, Johnson will make Caleb a better version of Goff. Never elite. He never was, but under Ben Johnson, he can be a system QB with better upside than Goff. BJ is creative and talented OC and will fix the Bears O-line. Definitely capable of being top 10 to 12, fantasy football producing, numbers for Caleb. Caleb can certainly be even some years 8 to 12. That's what Goff did. Goff was not that good. Goff is not that good. Goff played amazing. Ben Johnson's amazing. And perception's reality. And so can Ben Johnson make Caleb play better? The only question I have for Caleb is he can't play out of structure or in structure. He can only play out of structure. And I know Ben Johnson's going to work on that. My only concern is Caleb has learned it. Mute yourself real quickly, Bruce. Caleb has learned it and committed to playing out of structure. Pretty much that's all he knows. He doesn't play in structure anymore. And his offensive line, yeah, it probably was fixed, but it wasn't as bad as the stats made it out to be because it was on Caleb. He held, and I'm not yelling at BBQ, he held onto the ball so long that his offensive line looked more culpable than they were. His offensive line was not at fault for even half of the sacks that Caleb endured. Those were on Caleb. And his offensive line ranked a lot higher than people think. People say, oh, it's the worst offensive line in the league. Not even close. And while it played badly, it got worn down. It was tired. It gave up. It was like the Jets defense the last 2 years. Just tired, worn down, giving up. Everybody thinks it's bad. It's not. The Jets defense is finally going to get revived again. The Bears offensive line was not great, but it was not as bad as people think it was. It was Caleb. So can Ben Johnson fix that? I don't know. Put his mom in the stands. Maybe it makes him feel more comfortable. Something like that. I don't know. But we'll see. He's certainly not a player that I'm going to be on board with this year because I don't need to be. There's so many other quarterbacks that you can grab that. Even if Caleb ends up being top 9 and 10, I'm still making out like a bandit with the quarterbacks I'm grabbing. Thoughts on Nix and Ingram pairing together? Love it. I mean, the joker that is Evan Ingram is going to be fantastic all over the field. He's practically a wide receiver. I think he leads the team in a lot of categories. And Ingram, he's just got to stay healthy. But Ingram and Nix are going to be a thing this year. They're going to be an absolute threat to everybody. 50 gifted memberships by BBQ coming in strong. BBQ to the moon. To the moon.
Smitty, everybody.
Okay, Scared Scott, you're live.
Okay, Smitty, we got a question for you. I'm up and I got 4 before I pick, and I don't know how to rank these guys because they're so close. Out of these running backs, Kamara's still there. Now remember, there's 4 picks, so a couple of these may go. But I have Kamara, Hampton, Hubbard, Mixon, and Harvey. Would you rank those?
I'm going Hampton and Harvey. I'm going with the 2 rookies. I don't want Mixon. Mixon fell off the face of the earth last year. Even if Mixon's capable of bouncing back at all, and having, from his late season unfolding, how long is he going to last? This is, like I said, the leaf blower that has the battery doesn't last more than 5 minutes. It's strong for 5 minutes. It sounds, oh, this leaf blower, maybe the battery actually fit. Nope, there it goes. Boom. Just dies. Mixon was like this. He was top five monster, running back monster, just blowing up all year. And then boom, he just fell off. Not faded. He fell off the cliff. I'm not touching Mixon this year. And his offensive line's in shambles. And your other running back, Kamara, as much as I nostalgically love Kamara, and I think Kamara could do the same thing. He kind of started to, you could see that, just see it. His numbers were still pretty decent because they kept feeding him, especially the receptions and the receiving game. They're playing from behind. But Kamara is a running back that I think could, because he's going to get recharged, blow up month one. I'm telling you right now that in month one, Kamara might be amazing. Month two, Kamara might be amazing. But I feel like he will drop off the face of the earth. Ziggy, how old is Alvin Kamara?
Alvin Kamara is 29 years old and was born on July 25th, 1990.
July 25th, he turns 30 years old in 10 days. He turns 30 years old in 10 days. Expecting Kamara to have an amazing season is a disaster waiting to happen. Give me the two young bucks. Give me Hampton. Give me Harvey. Could they start off slow? Maybe you could cuff them to JK and Naji if you wanted. I wouldn't mind cuffing JK, but I don't even know if I want Naji. I think I would just bank on Hampton and grab Masons and grab Ray Davis and grab Charbonnets, and I'd be fine. Best ball, it's amazing. That's my answer.
Well, this is a redraft.
Okay.
Remember.
Well.
Okay, great, because that's who I was leaning for. So I'm with you. I don't want a 30-year-old back. Book scoring 18 touchdowns again seems like a big long shot, and he doesn't touch the ball enough.
Well, you just get
Hubbard.
Alvin Kamara is going to be
a one-year fluke to me, but
I don't know what.
I said Hubbard feels like a one-year fluke to me.
No,
A flash in the pan.
No,
for a year, and that's
he's
it.
not a fluke, but he's hard to buy into long-term for me. Not because of Brooks, just because he's been in the league a while. We've seen players kind of have a resurgence in their career, and then things kind of fall apart for him. But I still love Hubbard this year. I don't draft enough of him. There's other players. There's other players I like more than Hubbard, but it doesn't mean I don't like Hubbard. Hubbard is not somebody on my bust list or anything. I need more drafting Hubbard in my life. All right, Scott, if you have another one, call back. Appreciate you. This one for Bruce. Bruce, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. I got a question for you. With we were talking about the DK trade. Well, my buddy has a keeper league. He can keep either DK in the 13th, Bucky in the 12th, or Brock Bowers in the 9th. Which one should he do?
DK in the 13th. What else?
Bucky in the 12th, or Brock Bowers in the 9th.
Okay, why are we even talking DK? You just wasted my marker. Bowers, you don't do that again. Don't disrespect Bowers and Bucky like that. Bowers and you said 9th? Look, this is an easy thing to answer. Who are you drafting ahead of the other? I'm drafting Bucky probably over Bowers anyway, even though I do want some Bowers, shares. And I do, when I draft Bowers ahead. I'll admit that. Sometimes you have to. But 7 or 8 times out of 10, I'm drafting Bucky and not Bowers. So the fact that his keeper round is later, this is gold right here. Now, I'm not saying is it tight end premium? Because you didn't say that, did you?
No, it's not.
Okay. If it were tight end premium, I would say Bowers. I would switch it to Bowers. But it's not tight end premium. I'm going to go ahead and say Bucky. Now, having a positional advantage is nice. I think when people get tested with this question, they lean more toward positional advantage. But when push comes to shove, it is a lot harder to build a team drafting Bowers in 2 than Bucky in 2. They're both going in round 2. One's got keeper value at 12. The other's got keeper value at 9. Now, the difference is not so crazy that I wouldn't lean toward the player I want more. So if this was flipped, I could strongly consider keeping Bucky at 9 with Bowers at 12. It might influence me enough to say Bowers, but the point is 9th is still high enough that there's quality out there. I've seen Igbuka get taken in the 9th round in grandma leagues, so you never know. It's a pretty decent advantage. I'm going to say Bucky, and I want to say it's close, but I'm going to say Bucky. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry for bringing up DK. I was just bringing up the 3 people he wanted.
All right,
I should have corrected him and said DK isn't worth saving.
No, that's a waste of everyone's time there, Bruce. But go ahead. What else you got, Bruce?
My question is on the Chiefs with their when they signed Trey Smith today. Do you think that's going to show that they're rebuilding, like they're going from the ground up for Mahomes too?
Look,
how much does that affect Mahomes?
What do you mean? Everything's looking great for the Chiefs. The Chiefs have done a marvelous job rebuilding their line. They drafted one of the most underrated linemen in the draft, and they got him at the 31 overall pick, which was unbelievable. And they're just such a smart team, and they know when to get rid of players and send players packing. And maybe we'll find out in Chicago if, get rid of a player or two that isn't, quite where they needed to be anymore. We'll see how that works out. That's how smart Andy Reid is. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the Chiefs have one of the better offensive lines in the league this year. And I'm also going to say that they have a top 10 offensive line. They have a top 5 wide receiver room, and they have a top 5 quarterback. So this is going to be a baller year for the Chiefs. They're going to blow up. They're not just going to play defensive football. This is going to be a air it out, move it downfield situation.
Okay. All right. If I could think of one.
They're building for the now and the future. This move doesn't mean something about, we're punting the now. I don't know what you even mean by that. But the Chiefs are locking down their line for the now and the future. They're locking down everything. They're locking down. I mean, they're doing everything they can to get the entire side of both sides of the ball. And obviously the receiving room is much improved. I mean, even drafting Jalen Royals was a sweet move, and drafting Brashard Smith. Like, they're protecting every position. They're doing an amazing job. The Chiefs know how to do it.
Yeah, I was just asking what your thoughts on with that.
Love it. More Mahomes. Give me more Mahomes, bro. Mahomes in the 6th, 7th round is crazy. Steal of fantasy football. The 2 best values in all of fantasy right now, and I always catch myself, and then I end up listing 5, 10 guys. So I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to give you the actual 2 or 3 if I can. Mahomes in 6, 7. Kyren Williams in 3, 4, and that's where Kyron's going now, is the 3, 4, and I expect that to change as soon as he signs his extension. And if he doesn't, it gives him a hunger, a drive to go get the bag. So it's a win-win no matter what. But he's going at the 4.1 in some formats. He's going at the 3.5 to 3.12 in a little bit more run-heavy situations. These are 2 of the best values in fantasy, period. I would say. I love Rice. We were talking about Rice. I think you could easily put some of these rookie running backs like Hendy and Harvey in the mix. But if I was to try and be careful to point out 2, I would say it would be these 2. It's just such a steal in 2025. Both of them. Their ADPs are so crazy that if you take a look at it, I share my percentage of saturation on Underdog and ownership of these players, and you see Mahomes at, I think, 79% is my exposure on Underdog. But the deeper you get into a draft, the more that they can fluctuate across an entire round. So Mahomes can go at 6.1, 6.10, 6.12, 7.1, 7.12. So my ability to get Mahomes Underdog it's the easiest thing in the world to get Mahomes because I can reach if I want in round 6. I can draft him late in round 7. He sometimes falls to the 8th. It's crazy. So I'm able to get him everywhere. That's why the exposure is 79%. Somebody like Bijan, you can only get at picks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you literally have to have that draft slot or one of them to get him. And even if you get 4 or 5, you might not get him. You know, and now he's kind of climbing to 1, 2. So that's why you can't have an exposure of Bijan 70 or 80%. Otherwise, I probably would. Because there's no way to get it over, that pick over and over and over. So the deeper you get into drafts, the more you're going to have high exposure, you know, players that you have massive, you know, 79%, 50%. And Kyren is about as high as I can find a player where I'm getting like 39%, 37% of having him on all of my underdog teams. Like that's still a low enough, like he's in such a compartmentalized territory, it's hard to do that, but I'm drafting like clockwork in round 3, 4, just over and over and over. All right, anything else,
okay,
Bruce?
Yeah, I got one more for you, and this, you may have said it yesterday, but when a player signs a big contract like Garrett Wilson just did yesterday, how long do you think it takes to affect his ADP?
On underdog, that moment, and then we see it trickle in. There's 2 waves of an ADP update when this stuff happens. There's 2 ways that this gets affected. The first is the immediate. So initially, you get, let's say, on Garrett Wilson's case, Garrett Wilson goes up maybe 2 to 3 overall ADP spots, right? And part of that is people have to see it, right? I have to see people reaching. You see Garrett Wilson down 7 spots, but he's going. And then you see him down 6 spots, you know, on the suggested rank, and he goes. And that influences people. Once the first update happens, so phase 1 completes, the ADP solidifies, and then they roll out the update like a day or 2 later, and then you see his new ADP, you have another wave of people that still reach a little bit ahead of that, and then it might level down 1 more spot or 2. So it depends on where the player is going. If they're going like Dylan Samson in the 17th round, you know, a piece of news or any contract or whatever can move someone like 4 or 5 rounds, and it's almost a blip on the radar. But the bigger the named player, the more the impact of any movement is. So Garrett Wilson, like Kyren Williams is going, Kyren's going right around, we call it 3.5 to 4.1. If Kyren Williams signs his extension tomorrow morning, my guess is he climbs from 3.5, 4.1, and you're just going to move this up to 3.1 to 3.5. I think it kind of stays in that, the range just moves up almost exactly into that spot. So now you have 3.1 as his ceiling ADP value and 3.5 as his floor. So he's going to go up about a half a round, I believe, by the contract. And this is a super chat that's on this topic. I feel like Kyren's contract will be a dynasty sell signal. It's going to be a dynasty bump in value. You could look at it like that and say that you can't trade Kyren very easily right now, maybe in dynasty. And the moment he gets his long-term deal, that would be an opening for you to sell him if you wanted to. Let's say you had a plethora of running backs and you had like Hampton and Harvey and another running back, and you wanted to get a wide receiver and you had to sell one of your running backs. That could open the door to a sale that maybe you weren't really keen on doing because he was undervalued. But it doesn't suggest anything to me in terms of like get rid of him. I love Kyren. Kyren's a top 5 potential running back this year. And while he doesn't have 5-6 years left, 2 to 3 years is a long time. And people that play for 4 and 5, 6 years out, they'll play for second place their entire life. So if Kyren's going to give you 2 to 3 elite years, don't just go selling him because you're afraid of 3 years down the road. You'll always be playing for second place. So dynasty sell signal, improved value, which could be a selling opportunity if need be, but not somebody that it triggers me to sell him. Hell no. Smitty is so spot on. Thank you, BBQ. The Chiefs are such a savvy organization filled with glaring needs in the draft. Filled the glaring needs in the draft. They are going to produce fantasy gold. Back to stretching the field. Mahomes is the biggest steal, going nuclear. Mahomes is going to have 40 touchdowns and 4,500 yards if he disappoints me. If Mahomes disappoints me, And I'm mad at him. Like I'm talking trash about Mahomes. He failed me. That's 4,000 yards, 4,000 to 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns. That's disappointed, Smitty. He's going to go nuclear, as BBQ just said, and BBQ just dropped a $20 holler, by the way.
Alert. Super chat alert.
All right, Bruce, mute yourself real quickly. If you got to go, no problem. But if you want to hang on the phone line, I'll come back around. We have Steven on the line. Steven, you're live. What can I do for you?
All right, in a Superflex league, 4 keepers, 12 teams. All right, and this is our first year draft.
High end premium?
And it's a high. No.
Okay.
Double flex. I don't know if I said that, and it's a high stakes league. Everyone pretty much knows what they're doing here. $500 buy-in, and this is brand new. We start our keepers this year. When do you start drafting non-quarterback in a Superflex? Like when would you start doing Bijan instead of what pick?
So
you know
my favorite strategy in Superflex, and this almost never changes. First of all, let me just tell you this. I'm gonna have a video on this. I need to have more Superflex content, and the Dynasty content's coming too. I need to do more Dynasty content. I'm gonna do a Dynasty upload tomorrow morning, I think, at 7:30 a.m. That's my usual upload time for a non-live video. So it's 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Expect a Dynasty show tomorrow. My Superflex league winner, bro. You want to win a Superflex league this year? It's Cam Ward. This is the player that you want. He falls the furthest in a Superflex draft. He's got the most top 10 potential of the quarterbacks that are going late. I love Penix Jr. as well, but the price tag will be higher. You want to win a league? Grab Cam Ward downstream. You almost have to, I can't give you cemented in advice with Superflex because the fact that every Superflex is different. You might have guys grabbing early quarterbacks, and I'm not going to know what the tendencies are going to be. I've seen Superflexes where it's super veteran-like, and there's sharks all over the place, but they still punt quarterback more than you think. That happens. There's shark-infested waters where quarterbacks are just consumed by the third round, and there's none anywhere. So you almost have to know your environment, and you might not because you might be playing random people. But my general advice is this, okay? Because you can do what I'm saying here and just monitor the values. In round one, do you know what pick you have?
No, we're
okay.
Establishing that like next week. That's why I'm trying to get a head start.
Unless you get a late first rounder, you're grabbing QB in round one. You're grabbing QB. There's no discussion. There's no, hey, what about this? Or, hey, you're grabbing QB in round one. If you get a late enough pick where you're not getting one of those guys that you could legitimately argue is the number one overall quarterback. Lamar, you could argue that. Mahomes, you could still argue that. All those quarterbacks, obviously Josh Allen and JD5 and Hurts, those are all quarterbacks capable of being the number one overall player. You know, and so you grab him. And Mahomes is so nice because people are scared of him. He'll fall to sometimes 7 or 8. So you really only have like I would call it like maybe a 30% chance or less in some cases of not being able to get at least Mahomes. But if you get that, I Smitty approve Bijan. And then what my next approach has kind of been is getting Bo Nix in round 2. And I feel really good about that start. That's going to be like my emergency strategy. In general, though, I'm going to tell you to draft your quarterback, as I just mentioned. Go non-quarterback drafting in rounds 2 and 3. And grab players that deserve to be in round 1 when you're drafting in round 2 in a non-QB environment. And then the player you grab in round 3 should feel like a second rounder in non-Superflex environments, because you're trying to grab that maximized talent that's not overvalued. You're grabbing somebody that it's almost ridiculous. I know it's Superflex, but it feels like a crime to draft this player in the third. So once you get to this 4th round, examine where the quarterbacks are. Make a determination based on your best assessment and guesstimation. Do you have to go Cam Ward here? Could you miss Cam Ward? Then just take him. Because guess what's going to happen, bro? You're going to see Cam Ward here. You lock it up. You got your QB and Cam Ward. The players that fall into these rounds, round 5 and round 6, is still going to look filthy every time you're on the board. You might see Harvey in 6. You might see Hunter in 6. You might see Debo in 8. At 7, 8, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about taking and missing out on that non-quarterback player in 4. Don't miss Cam Ward. You do this. If you get a high pick QB and Cam Ward, you're going to smash the draft. And if all else fails and you have a late first rounder, grab Bijan or Gibbs, grab Bo Nix, you'll be fine. And do the same thing with
I completely agree with Cam Ward, because I've done my research on Cam Ward. Like, not a lot of people, I don't know if you have, but not a lot of people are talking. I'm high on him. It's Calvin Ridley. You know, he's a great route runner. And I'm not high on Treylon Burks. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him.
Makes sense.
Who's the other one there? Who's the other? Tyler Lockett or somebody is there?
Well,
I forget.
Well, you talk about Tennessee. I love A.O. Minor, the rookie.
Yeah.
He's probably the second wide receiver there. He has the capability of being the number 1. And then Restrepo is the.
But Calvin Ridley.
Hold on 1 second.
Player, man, he's a great route runner.
Yeah,
you know?
I like Ridley. He's just burned so many times. It's hard to trust him, but I don't mind him. Thank you, Cincy Kid, for that. But all right, bro, appreciate you. Go crush it. If you got another one, call back.
All right, man.
All right, Travis, you're live.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
I got a couple shares of James Cook, and I was going to ask you, do you prefer to move off of Cook or acquire Ray Davis? Because I don't have Davis on you.
Do I like what?
Would you rather trade away Cook if you have James Cook, or would you rather
trade away Cook?
Just get Ray Davis.
Trade away Cook.
Handcuff. Yeah.
Trade away Cook for sure. And I really like having Ray Davis without Cook. But it's my favorite. So the thing about Cook is, in most circles, Cook has more value than Harvey, than in redraft, than Hampton. Now, in Dynasty, it's a little different, but you could just pay the difference. It's kind of like mortgage rates or something. If you can buy the rate down or whatever, you're going to have to buy, you can almost have to buy the increased Dynasty value down to what would be normally a redraft trade. So, sometimes you got to throw first rounders in there or whatever. So, first rounder and Cook. So, Cook and a first rounder to get Hampton, and maybe you even do get something in this that you like that they don't like. Harvey, but I like Harvey. I like Breece Hall. I like Kyron. I like so many running backs over James Cook, and the fact that I can get more is kind of like the way I felt when I went shopping the other day and traded Hurts away for Bo Nix, and I was able to get Breece Hall. And I don't have to tell anybody that I think Nix is as good as Hurts in a dynasty. I just say, I played dumb. I didn't want to downgrade this, and you're going to give me Hall? Okay, fine. Twist my arm. Very similar with James Cook. Cook, you should be able to trade Cook with the maybe the holdouts concerning people, though, so it's hard to say. But Cook for 2 players. I think you should be able to pull that off.
All right. Then, and say if, I can't move Cook because people are worried about the holdout, what's the most you're moving for a Ray Davis just to have that up?
Not a first rounder. That's like a desperate move that somebody that doesn't, play in a lot of leagues would do. Just they hear it, they get scared, and they just give up whatever. I'd have to hear can you give me some players? Of course, I'd give up second rounders. If I had to give up 2 second rounders to get Ray Davis, I'd do that. Second rounders are good. I don't want to make sure people don't think I wouldn't take them. But 2 second rounders to secure your running back room, I understand it. At least sometimes you got to overpay. But give me a couple names, and I'll tell you whether I like Ray Davis or would I trade this player for Ray Davis.
I honestly, I don't have any off the top of my head right now. It's just something I'm starting to think about.
I guess I would say players that come to mind would be, maybe it's an uncomfortable swap of backups. You have their backup, and you can make a move that sometimes happens ironically. You look at their team and you're like, oh damn, I have Bigsby. So you have Bigsby. and they have ETN, or whatever. Like something like that works well. I think you can make a lot of arguments too. Like if we look at the cuff board, maybe the person that has Ray Davis, maybe you have, I don't want to say Mason because Mason feels like standalone value, but you might have to, in an uncomfortable fashion, give up a Brooks from Cincy, or maybe you have Samson and you're like, damn it, I don't want to do this, but I also don't want to go without Ray Davis. You might have to overpay and give up a guy we love, Samsonite. But, things like that, if you're in a desperate...
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Bruce, you got anything else?
I got one more on Judkins. Do you think that, they're going to hold the contract out and he's going to have to renegotiate it just because back when Ray Rice did what he did, he had guaranteed money, and he actually had to go to court with the Ravens because he had guaranteed $18 million, but they settled for $6 million. Do you think that's why they're trying to pull the thing from him?
Hold on.
$50. Give me $50, holla.
To Saturn.
BBQ to Saturn. BBQ. Real quickly, Bruce, let me just read this. First off-season here, and I've learned so much about the teams, players, NFL draft process. Show is truly a unique experience that removes the doubts on fantasy draft process, ADP, waiver wire. Community mods are amazing. Love being a part of it. Thank you, BBQ. BBQ, everybody loves you because you drop these, and not only that, you're just a good dude. Like, people can tell you're a good dude, but you drop these gifted memberships, and then you do things like, he'll give this away or whatever. Like, he's just crazy. We love BBQ to Saturn. One more time to Jupiter.
To Jupiter.
BBQ. Drop a BBQ emoji for BBQ. Thank you. Bruce, I guess I'm a little bit far away from when you asked the question, so I'm a little foggy on what you even said. But I think you were asking about, you think that the Browns are trying to do this or that, and I don't think the Browns are that smart. First of all, whatever you were even saying.
Well, no. The NFL, you think they're trying to get away from the guaranteed money because when
of course they are.
Ray Rice signed his contract, and then the video came out. He actually took the NFL to court because they didn't want to pay him his guaranteed money.
Right. I get that, but the guaranteed money is a problem, and they're trying to get these second-round players and third-round players to not get what they're trying to demand to get, and even some of the first-round players. But now Judkins has no move, bro. He has no move. He's either going to take whatever they give him and be lucky that they're going to sign him so that the commissioner can then exempt list him. That's going to be Judkins' best outcome. But there might be a world where the Browns say, we're not signing him. I'm not saying that that's exactly for sure the way that it's going to go, but that might be the world we're living in today. We might see the Browns say, forget it. We're not signing him. The Browns is bad of an organization and bad decision-making organization as it is. They probably have had it, that's why they didn't draft Shedeur for so long. They kept punting the idea because they're like, what if we take a guy that's a problem? What if let's take Gabriel. Oh, he's there again. I almost guarantee you the Browns, everyone gives the Browns all this credit because they drafted Shedeur so late. They were trying not to draft him. You don't take Gabriel ahead of him because you're trying to draft him. They literally were trying to not draft him, and then they're like, we got to take him now. But this organization, it's hard to know what they're going to do, but they have been through the ringer. And I highly doubt they're excited about signing a guy that's about to get suspended. It's the moment he signs it, and I'm going to sign my contract right here. Boom. As soon as he signs it, immediately turns around and Roger Goodell's there to serve him with a commissioner exempt list notice. You've been served. And you're on the exempt list. Paid. But here's the problem. Here's the problem, bro. Paid. If you're the Browns and you're told you signed Judkins, we're going to exempt list him and you're still going to have to pay him. What do you think the Browns are thinking? Maybe if we don't sign him, we won't be forced to pay somebody that's not going to be able to play for us. So the only thing they're going to say is, let's lowball him. We'll sign him. We'll pay a guy that's not here. But then when he comes back, he'll be on the deal that we were, wanting him to get on. And we're still not going to think that this is going to be devastating long term. We still like him. We're willing to give him another chance. He'll be on the roster. So, like, there's a lot of different ways to look at this. But the Browns are, I can promise you, examining the idea of, do we even sign him? You know, and then they're going to be scared. Do we let another team grab him because we're scared? We're scared, Scotty, and we're not going to sign Judkins. And then another team like the Chiefs is like, we don't care. Like, we'll sign Judkins. Bring him on over. Red Rover. Send Judkins right over. Judkins sign right here. There it is. Judkins signs right there. Okay. There's your locker room. Rashee Rice will take you to your home. He's right there with chauffeur you with his vehicle. Worthy's right there. Worthy will get your bags. Worthy and Rice will take you straight on down the freeway, and they'll turn right, drop you off at your hotel. We'll see you for dinner. That's how the Chiefs would roll. So the Browns are in a tough spot. They're in a real tough spot. And I don't know that they're equipped to handle it. I really don't. Can me and Viral Clips join your fantasy league? There's plenty of opportunities to jump in to 2 leagues that I have going on. Just stay tuned and glued to the channel as the traffic's building up. Like right now, we've got 300 people on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that thumb up button, subscribe if you're new. We go live, in my opinion, more than anybody, and I think I'm not even being biased with that. Yesterday we had 5 shows. I think it was 5 shows. Today this is the second show, and then the midnight show tonight will be 3. I believe. Yeah, so we'll have a couple leagues. Just hang tight. You'll get details on it. Not everybody's going to get in, but just found out I have the 4 pick. This is from Jesse. The 4 pick in a redraft league. Can you give me an idea of who to take with my first 2 picks? It's going to depend on your league. If it's very running back heavy, give me Bijan or Gibbs all day. If Bijan and Gibbs are taken, then I love Lamb, bro. If you don't get Chase, obviously, you get Lamb and you start from that. I think it's going to be one of those. Do I want Bijan? I want Bijan 1 overall. I want Gibbs maybe 2 overall. I want Ja'Marr Chase 3. I want Lamb or JJ. I'm kind of torn on that one 4. Like, so I could easily tell you that I want Bijan. Even in wide receiver hungry environments, I'm starting to lean that as the best player available, almost no matter what you tell me your league mates are thinking of doing. But I tend to like Bijan right now. That because also Rice is climbing, and I'm willing to take Rice in the second round. Because London and Rice are typically there for the taking no matter what, I'm pretty comfortable with that wide receiver in round number 2. In the worst case scenario, you can get Garrett Wilson very easily with your 3rd round pick. So if I go Bucky and Bijan and then Garrett Wilson in round number 3, I'm fine with that too. MHJ in round 3, I'm starting to become more and more comfortable with any scenario you throw at me, wide receiver wise in round 3 or 2, if I go RB in round 1. So as much as I tell you to wait, to make your decision based on the flow of draft, I can kind of almost say that semi-cementing and Bijan would always be my pick, and that's kind of the way I'm leaning right now. Appreciate you. And so you say, assuming Chase and Bijan are gone, then I'm probably going Gibbs. And if Gibbs is gone, I go Lamb. And then if I take Lamb, I'm wanting probably Bucky. If Achane falls, he probably won't. So Bucky would be my home run second round pick. The only thing that the problem you're gonna face is if you go Lamb or Chase and the running backs are gone, and Bucky's gone, you just got to make sure you get Kyren, in my opinion, or poor player I love as much. It depends. Chase Brown's good too, but Kyren in round 3, or if you've got to take him in 2 because they're flying off the board and you still get Garrett Wilson, Lamb, Kyren, Garrett Wilson smashes. Like I could figure out a way to solve any problem pretty much. But you just got to make sure you're on the ball and you don't get stuck with a crappy running back because you went wide receiver and it threw you off. Be prepared. Understand where Garrett Wilson is going. Understand to make sure you're taking Kyren at the right spot if you do go wide receiver. But any one of those scenarios sounds like a fantastic start if you ask me. BBQ, thanks again for the $50 hauler. Appreciate you. And you get a bold prediction with this $50 hauler. For those that don't know, any $50 hauler, you get put up on the board, and on the board, you can drop your bold prediction. And the winner of the bold prediction contest will co-host a show on the phone line for the entire show. And there'll be certain giveaways and things we're doing. Let me go back to Travis real quick. Travis, what can I do for you?
Yeah, just kind of looking at like ADPs every year. There's like 2 or 3 guys out of the top, say 15 that are like don't end up anywhere near the top 15 players. What are there like what are the few that stand out to you? That obviously CMC, maybe Henry, but
so avoid.
Besides that, like,
so avoids essentially.
You're steering away from.
So avoids.
Yeah.
Okay. So my top avoids, I think, if I was to clear this board off here, let me get rid of these guys so that I don't confuse anybody. And they say, well, why is Rice sitting at the top there, Smitty? All right. McCaffrey, yeah, I mean, let's just get that out of the way. McCaffrey climbing to 7 is ridiculous. Let me put bust on here so people know that these are players I do not want to draft at ADP. So let me put right here. I'll put it over this. These are avoids, essentially. ADP avoids. And I have the worst and best picks in every round series going on right now, and I dropped that.
Yeah.
So we did take care of round 1 already, but I can go ahead and review it for those that haven't seen it yet. But go watch that. If you click under videos, you'll see best pick in every round series, and I've done round 1. So CMC is an awful pick at 7 overall. Not just because, you know, like could he deliver? Yeah, but what are the odds on that? Like, what's the percentage chance that Christian McCaffrey returns his newfound 1.7 overall value? That's his ADP right now, 1.7. It's not good. And even if he does do it, I'm going to grab a player like Genty or even Achan early, or, you know, a receiver, whatever, that's going to get me what McCaffrey's going to get me on 14 games that I prayed and got at least 14. I'm like, thank you. And yeah, you could get Garendo, but so can I. I can draft Garendo anyway, and I get the best of all worlds. But it's just a total avoid for me. The other player that I don't like that much, but I will not say with the same, you know, heavy hand not to draft, is Barkley, because of the 430. I just think 430 carries is crazy. I am not a big fan of James Cook is going in like 3-4, right? In general, I'm gonna say.
I think so.
Yeah, see if you can see what his ADP is right now on Underdog. I'm pretty sure it's right in between if you look at all leagues. So like mom and pop leagues, your home league, your non-best ball, he'll go 3. Sometimes in Underdog he can drop, or it can be vice versa. He kind of floats around. But Cook is one of the worst values to me. The guy wasn't even a top 10 running back on any level except for those touchdowns. You know, getting that crazy amount of touchdowns is just insane. So Cook is.
Oh, JT.
Yeah, JT. He's a total. You'll see this in the second round video. JT's a total avoid for me in the second round. He's total. I mean, the offensive line, the quarterback play, they're not going to live near the red zone. Lots of concern there. Another running back you're going to see, Aaron Jones is bad. He's going. Where's Aaron Jones' ADP? Let me pull it up.
I don't have any. I haven't done an Underdog draft for 2 weeks. So
let me pull up the ADP.
I don't have one up right now.
I got it right here.
Yeah. Do you know what the sleeper ADP is based off of right now?
No.
Because they have like.
I don't.
Just like their own.
I don't even know if it. I don't know if it's what consists of a computer draft. You know, like if someone joins a draft, I don't know that they've defined it publicly, but if someone joins a draft and they bail by the second or third round, does it count all of those computer picks, or does it only count the picks before the timeouts start? Like, we have no idea, but it feels like it's bad computer data. Like the draft as a whole gets added to the ADP. I don't know. I can't speak to it. I'm just saying my guess is that you have 12 people that join a draft, 10 of them bail in the third round, and that data still counts. And it's computer picks that get added on. I don't know. Let's see. James Cook is going in 43 overall, so in the 4th round. It's not a great pick. Aaron Jones is going in, even though Aaron Jones is going kind of late, like 84. I still don't draft him, but I don't know that I'll put him on this list just because he's not even going that high. Kamara is a concern for me. I think, the one, if I was just, I'm going to save these for the video because the video is going to break them all down. But I would say the one that really screams, I don't understand what people are doing. Like, I have no idea what the thought process is, and it's a complete disaster in the making. Let me find the ADP data 1 second. So we're talking about 41 overall is Tedero McMillan, and he oftentimes people will take him early at the tail end of 3 or the top of 4. This doesn't make any sense to me. I like the kid. I like the kid a lot. But I'm unfortunately always looking like a hater because his ADP is crazy. Is there a percentage chance he could deliver on the expectation of 3-4 turn player value in an environment where I like Bryce Young? I'm rooting for him. I'm so excited to watch him play. Baker and Bryce Young are two of the most easy to root for quarterbacks right now, because Baker's already proven it, but like you're hoping to get exactly that same kind of like rebound out of Bryce Young. And I love his coaches. I love everything about the situation, except for I don't feel like it's proven yet. There's a lot that needs to happen. It's a crowded room. Ted McMillan's definitely in their plans to become their future, but you've got a loaded wide receiver room, and it's not extremely talented to the point where he can't easily float to the top of it. But how quickly will that happen? What's it going to look like? He's a very green player anyway. I already broke this down on my profile breakdowns of the rookies. He's got to learn how to handle getting manhandled at the line of scrimmage in the big leagues. It's going to be a problem for him. Whereas a guy like Egbuka invited contact, thrived off it. He didn't. He would shut down when he get hands placed on him. Now he can learn all that, but expecting him to do it to the tune of a 3-4 turn player is madness. This is BTJ overreaction syndrome. Where people are just thinking this is BTJ all of a sudden. Like, I'm just going to get the next BTJ. That doesn't always happen. Hold on, I got 2 super chats real quickly, and then we'll move on to a different topic because I don't want to ruin all that content that's going to be coming down stream here. Stick Nasty says JD5, Bucky, Hampton, Wilson, MHJ, Shaheed, Kraft, Coleman, record predictions 2025. Record predictions 2025. What does Sick Nasty mean on this, you think? You're just saying, like, give me the stat predictions. Let me know what you're asking, JD Sick Nasty, and I'll drop if you need stat predictions for him. This one here from 6320 with the $20 super chat. Appreciate you, my guy.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Oh, how many wins are you going to have with that team? Okay.
Oh,
yeah. 85, yeah. Bucky, Hampton, Wilson, MHJ, Shaheed, Kraft, Coleman. It's a good team. It's a real good team. Bucky, JD5, Hampton, Wilson, MHJ. 10?
Shaheed and Coleman.
Yeah.
Have to come through for him.
Yeah. 10?
I
imagine you got a couple other guys too, that could step up, but like 10? You probably got like a Tajay Spears and like something going on, I'm sure. Thornton, something like that. So I think you could definitely be a 10-win team in any league. If it was a 10-man league, maybe it's going to be more of a struggle to get 10 wins, but you still could, just because everybody's team's going to be loaded. But in a 12-man, that's really, really good. It's fantastic. Okay, let me hit these this super chat and this $20 hauler. I had a draft where T. Higgins got picked at the 1.1. It's so weird because there's the only thing that comes to mind on that. There are people that will draft like Baker around 2, and then they'll draft like, and they're drafting. They want a specific combo. Like their algorithm told them that if you had this, you'll win. And the only way they could fit it was to put Baker there, and everything else had to go a little bit early and to get it or something. And you could almost like try and logically, not that you agree, but logically understand what someone might be doing, and the rest of their draft looks normal. And you're like, whatever. But this makes no sense because if you're doing some sort of weird algorithm, type of build, that the stats are driving force behind it, you're going to take Chase and then take Higgins early. There's no way you're taking just Higgins, because you can get Higgins there's just no explanation. The only thing that comes to mind is somebody thinks they've got a way out of drafts, like this will get refunded if I do this, but they'll block you, they'll kick you out of Underdog if you even remotely try to do this on purpose on any, even I'd imagine even one time on purpose, but any sort of regular basis, you will be kicked out. They will literally march you straight out of the app and say you're never coming back. Because how disappointed would you be as a player if you couldn't trust that the draft that you were joining was going to stick and stay? Like, if that happened often, you would stop playing. So they have to be very hard on people that try and do something like this. Even if you didn't do it on purpose, let's say you were just very bad at fantasy and you were drafting stupid teams every time, I imagine you'd probably have a problem staying on the app. I imagine they'd be like, look, we're having to cancel more than one draft, you're gone, because you're going to hurt the trust that our people have with you. And this is all my speculation. I don't have any sort of information on this, but my guess is that a person that does this is saying, I hate my draft slot. I don't want this draft slot, so I'm going to ruin the draft and they'll refund it and I'll get my money back later. That's the only thing I can think of, because this is really ridiculous. Or their little baby or child or dog cued T. Higgins and they walked away from their phone and they timed out. Or they were, and I've done this before, you start going through, maybe T. Higgins is their favorite player, and they're like, I'm going to cue T. Higgins for that second round pick. They went and got a drink. They forgot. They walked. I can't tell you how many times I've joined a draft, set my phone right there, and I forget, and I look over and the draft's over. I've done that before. So if they did cue T. Higgins up because it's their favorite player, I could see it happening that way. So those are the only things.
It almost seems like that has to be it. Yeah. Because if you have the 1.1, you're happy with that pick.
Yeah. Now they said T. Higgins got picked at the 1.1 and it did not get canceled. I was pretty shocked. I think that. So again, I have no information on this, but my guess is that when you think about it logically, they want to cancel as little amount of drafts as they can so they don't ruin that trust factor. But they also have to protect everybody, because if two people jumped into a draft and one person's like, I'm going to take T. Higgins at 1 so that the other team could get better first round pick, then everyone that's playing that didn't see that kind of advantage in their draft could be playing at a disadvantage, and someone could win all the money off of this. So they got to walk a fine line. I think if the rest of the draft played out normally, they might not do anything.
Yeah, you can probably have a couple, even two teams made one crazy pick at draft and probably canceled it.
But thank you for the $20 hauler, bro, and I'd be interested to know what your team was based on that, giving the advantage of having to draft in rounds 1 and 2 without T. Higgins, with T. Higgins bumping everybody down one spot. I'd love to hear your team, because this is definitely a gift for you to draft it in this draft with T. Higgins bumping everyone down. I'd love to hear your team. So spit it out if you can. Let me go over to Bruce. This will be the last. I got a 443 caller on the line. I'm sorry. 443, what can I do for you? Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's Nick from Baltimore. I had a question about all these contracts and the trend that's been going on with the guaranteed money, and just wondering how you think, with all your experience, how it's going to affect fantasy football.
What do you mean?
Like all the second round guys asking for guaranteed money.
How's it affect? What do you mean? How's it affect? What do you mean though? But what do you mean? How's it affect fantasy football? First of all, I don't think all of them are going to get guaranteed contracts, but they're trying to push back on that. But in the Judkins thing could really help. But you mean, does it guarantee that a second round player is not going to get a better shot than normal? Is that what you're trying to infer?
Well, also the idea that if some of these guys do get guaranteed money, or does their value go up?
It can. I don't think it necessarily keeps someone. You got to remember, there's a lot of factors in play. Like, let's say, you're talking about Harvey as an example. Just kicking around a second-round player. And if Harvey's guaranteed, let's just say in a hypothetical scenario, he's guaranteed, X number of dollars guaranteed now. His whole contract is guaranteed. Yeah, there's probably a little bit of a likelihood that he's going to be given ample opportunity to lose his job versus maybe ever being on a short leash like maybe somebody would. But at the same time, if he's not working out, there might be turnover in coaching. There's so many different ways that this could, where an incoming coach, this is not his player. And you're not necessarily in organizations all the time as a coach that just say, you're going to play this guy. A lot of coaches won't coach like that. They'll say, I'm not going to come coach for you if you're going to tell me I got to play a guy based on a paycheck. So I don't know that it's going to necessarily, the second round and first round players are so much higher percentage of successful landing rates that I don't know how much of it we would see bleed over to the fantasy football aspects of it. Like, there's a lot more defensive, offensive line players that would maybe affect things, but there's so little RB wide. I just think there's going to be, like, you're not going to just keep a wide receiver in the lineup because his contract was guaranteed if he's, shitty. And could it give a running back a little more of an advantage? I think the fantasy worlds may look at it that way, and rightfully so in some degree and respect. Like, if second round becomes the normal guaranteed fall off, like first round guaranteed money, second round pretty much guaranteed money eventually, and then the third round is accepted widely as you're going to get drafted in the third round, you better not try and hold out or we're not paying you guaranteed money, foot put down, blah, blah, blah. I could see that second round runners have more fantasy football dynasty appeal in the dynasty community, but we still got a ways to go before I think we know that that's for sure locked in and what that looks like. And guaranteed money is always good, but how many running backs get cut that get drafted in the second round before their rookie deal's up anyway? Like, you got to look at all that. I don't think it makes you start them longer if they suck, but we'll have to see. I mean, think of all the running backs that, go in the second round. They're all pretty successful anyway.
Yeah. I'm interested to see, like, if Hendy or Harvey, like, hold out or just don't get signed, see what their value does, because that can drop significantly.
Yeah. I have a feeling, it is tough, this Judkins situation. It could do two different things. It could make some of these guys accept their deal now because they're afraid that if Judkins crawls to the Browns and says, none of it guaranteed, whatever, just sign me, please, that it could affect everybody. And so maybe the offer's very close to guaranteed and they're just going to take it. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's no real way to know how this is all going to play out, but Judkins certainly will have a role. His contract will have a role in shaping what direction things go. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I was also hearing that Chuck has the main one, the biggest guaranteed contract that they're all waiting for, because he's after a lot of guys in the second round. So
yeah, it really should be a scale.
Alrighty.
It should just be a scale. I don't know why they haven't. It's crazy. This whole negotiating rookie deals, and it should just be a exact amount in scale. I mean, your draft selection, then you fight higher to get your draft capital up. Maybe you show up to the combine. These players don't show up to the combine, and then I think they should fix all that by going in later in the draft and holding out. So, now the combine becomes important. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Later.
All right, interesting.
I think once camp starts up and we're getting closer to preseason, a lot of them will probably end up signing the deal. I think we'll probably get a handful of them. I don't know how many will get guaranteed money and some won't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be something that changes the whole game or not. What do you think?
Yeah.
You think this will happen every year now?
I think that it feels like a loophole trend, I guess you could say, where it's like now all of a sudden it's like things slip into the second round as a theme. Like, we all band together and get guaranteed money. Like, that's why I said if there's a cutoff and it was like third round, and it's like, you're in the third round, fool. You know, we all know there's no guaranteed money in the third round. Get yourself into that second round.
Well, exactly. And on the flip side of it, these owners are far more stubborn than most of these players. So these owners will just sit on their hands up.
Yeah.
Until they get their way.
By the way, if
there's truly that many going against them.
By the way, this isn't even a rumor. There's nothing to this. This is a prediction by Bleacher Report. They're just trying to like get clicks. So there's nothing to this, but there's people floating it around right now. So I figured I would bring it up just so people don't ask me about it later and say, Smitty, did you hear the rumor about the potential trade? It's not a potential trade. It was Bleacher Report just throwing something at the wall for clicks. But it was the Jets trade Breece Hall. Or I'll say Jets receive McLaurin. This is just a stupid concept. Eckler. Caller, I just added, if you could mute yourself, we got a lot of background noise. Eckler. And then it was a 26 fifth rounder. And the Commanders received Breece Hall. So Washington would receive Breece Hall and a 26 second rounder. So, but the reason I'm even bringing it up, because this is a complete fabricated pipe dream Bleacher Report writer that just, said they predict this to happen. Like, why? But the thing that's crazy is we have seen in years past where a rumor triggers a trade. It's happened before, because what ends up happening is, let's say somebody sees this in Washington or in New York, and they pick the phone up or they kick around like, hey, what do we? It's done. It's triggered things before, so you never fully know. Not that this would be the exact trade, but there's a possibility that a guy like Adam Peters is like, I want Hall. Maybe we do kick the tires on this. So that's all I'm saying. It's a made up scenario by Bleacher Report, but it would be crazy and interesting to see that happen. It would be, can you imagine Hall in Washington? And I don't want McLaurin in New York. That would probably be a one-sided blow to New York and Garrett Wilson, and it'd be good for Fields, but it'd certainly be interesting. Debo's value.
Not more trades like this.
It would be crazy, but anyway, that's what the report was, and it's floating around out there, but it's not. There's nothing.
I wish the NFL had more trades like that.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Overcome dropped a super chat. Kyron for Walker Sharps. You're running back one in Dynasty. What would you rather have, Travis? Walker and Sharps, or just Kyron with no backups? And chat, vote on it in the chat for Overcome.
Man,
Damn.
In Dynasty, Walker and Sharps. I think. But that's saying that I can't acquire Darquez or Corum at all. If I can get Hunter, I'm just going to go and get him.
Yeah, chat, vote on this one here. I'd probably...
But if it's literally just Kyron, I'll take Walker and Sharps.
Yeah. If I could win cash money, I'd say Kyron. If it was like a small entry fee league, didn't matter, or you weren't going to win, I think I could lean toward the Walker Sharps, because that might even divide into two players, because if Walker could get traded to Washington or something like that. So I'd probably say it depends on that, but it's a good question, Overcome. Look at the chat for answers. Sam, I'm sorry about the wait on this one. What round is your line in the sand for Christian McCaffrey? In such an uncomfortable round, it's almost, I don't want to say embarrassing is the right word, but almost afraid that people would think I'm insane. But when it comes down to where I'm willing to say goodbye to other players, let me get rid of these guys. But McCaffrey. So if McCaffrey would have fallen to round 2, I'm not taking him. There's handfuls and handfuls of players that will always be available all the way down to the bottom of round 2 that I would draft over Christian McCaffrey. Kyron lives in round number 3. I'm taking Kyron. So I can't see a world where I draft McCaffrey even in the 3rd round. Now we start getting lower, then we start having conversations about, is this, redraft, is this dynasty, is it, what in the hell, how much money's on the line, how confident am I that I can scoop up late running backs? Can I hold as many unlimited running backs as I want, or is there a 5 running back roster minimum? Can I get Garendo? Is it keeper league? Like, there's so many different aspects to this, but I would say I'm not taking him in the first 3 rounds. I can say that with utter and complete confidence. Thank you for the super chat, young man. Anything else, fellas, before I head out, and then I'll be back tonight at midnight Eastern.
I got one, Smitty.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take a number 1 receiver on a bad team, or a Jerry Jeudy, or would you rather take?
Okay. So give me, you can't look at blanket statements like that. They're not equals. You can't say, you could say
like a Jerry Jeudy or T. Higgins.
Higgins for sure.
Higgins.
Now his offense will overwhelm Jerry Jeudy's situation, especially the rotational quarterback situation. But if you give me like another example, like Travis Hunter versus T. Higgins, I think Travis Hunter could be the number 1. Not always, but a rotational number 1. Him and BT are equals to me. So like there's that. Or you could say, hey, J-Mo's often uses a number 2, on a team. So we could use, like, this depends on the scenario. I like a higher octane offense usually can hold more weight than the talent, but if the talent is, or the situation is that bad, then it won't. How is the player going to overwhelm? Think of Barkley in a different example, but same concept. Barkley in New York was handcuffed, and he goes to Philly and he blows up. So it's like, situations could be a detriment and almost impossible to be at full capacity. Look at Herbert.
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, McLaurin without a quarterback, DJ Moore without Fields. Look at Herbert in not even held back because of a bad situation, but Herbert held back because his coach won't let him use his right hand. You're going to put that in your pocket. We're going to handcuff we're going to tape your arm to your leg with Flex Seal, and you can't go anywhere. I want you throwing with your left hand. This is a team environment, Herbert. Stop trying to show off. You're only allowed to throw for 200 yards even. Then you must sit down on the bench. Next man up. That's like that's Harbaugh's rah environment. That's like Herbert's a 5,000-yard passer, 40 touchdown capable quarterback, and he's throwing 3,600 yards and 25 touchdowns. Like, what a waste of talent sitting there on the Harbaugh's system. Herbert, we need to create a petition to get Herbert traded to the Vikings. Send JJ McCarthy right over to Harbaugh. He loves him anyway. He fit him perfect. And everybody that loves JJ McCarthy would get exactly what they want, a winner. Because Harbaugh would win, McCarthy would manage a great team, and McCarthy would do good. He would do really good doing that. And Herbert would get to go unleash the beast.
I have one more question.
All right, last one, and I got to run.
All right. So in Superflex, is it
Jack, I'm sorry.
bad to go back to back?
Hold on one second. Jack, call in real quickly. Jack, I'll help you real quick, bro. Go ahead. Superflex, what?
Is it bad to go back to back quarterbacks?
No, Bruce. Why would it be bad?
Because the way you were explaining it was go your quarterback first and then go back to someone that's in the
it depends
first
where
round.
You're drafting. It depends if you're using my strategy and you get one of those top 5 guys. My strategy of choice is to go return to normalcy, and then come back for Cam Ward in the 4th or 5th round, depending on where you can get him. But I mean, I can't even answer that question. I need to know, is it quarterback heavy? Is everybody taking quarterbacks in round 2? Do people barely draft a second quarterback and it's almost like they don't even know it's a super flex? Do you have the 10 pick where you want to take Kyler and Bo Nix together? You know, something like that. I'm fine with that. It just really depends.
Because I have the 3 pick. This is our first year doing Superflex.
So,
and I was kind of worried, like, what if I came back and I took Bo Nix?
I'm fine.
Over like.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with it. But if Bo Nix doesn't fall, then you definitely don't want to grab like a. You definitely don't want to grab like a Caleb in the second round. Don't grab a Caleb in the second round. Don't grab a player like that. But if Bo Nix were to fall, that's a top 8 overall player in Superflex potentially. So you grab Bo Nix, that's fine.
Okay.
But just don't grab any quarterback. Your general rule from a 3-pick spot would be that you're going to probably go non-quarterback in 2, non-quarterback in 3, and examine where Cam Ward is along the way. Count your ADP slots. Make sure you're not pushing it. Like, oh, Cam Ward will fall barely to my pick. You're probably going to miss him. So grab him early enough. Get Cam Ward. Cam Ward in your top 3 QB is the winning recipe to your league. Just make sure every pick you make, you're trying to smash that player. You're not reaching. If you're in the round 2 and you're taking a second round player that in a 1 QB goes in round 2, you're completely screwing up your Superflex draft. In round 2, you should be drafting a player that normally in 1 QB would live in round 1. In round 3, you should be drafting a player that normally in 1 QB would live in round 2 or round 1. If you start taking players like, you take Kyron in round 3 in a Superflex, you don't know what you're doing because he goes in 4, sometimes 5 in a Superflex. If you draft Travis Hunter in 4 in a Superflex, you don't know what you're doing because he goes in 6 or 7 in a Superflex, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, because like you said to me, I think last time, because I said I wanted Burrow, and you were like, don't count out JD5, don't count out Josh Allen, don't count out Lamar.
I love Burrow.
Because you were like, you're putting all your eggs. You're putting all your eggs on Joe Burrow. You want Joe Burrow.
I don't mind Joe Burrow at 3.
Yeah.
I don't mind Joe Burrow at 3.
Okay.
I don't mind any of those quarterbacks at 3. I mean, honestly, would I go JD5, Josh Allen, and then, I mean, it depends on the scoring too, you know. But I think Burrow's fine. There's nothing wrong with Burrow at 3.
Okay. Yeah, because it's 6 points.
Even more?
The way they worded it is 6 points per DD patch, and then they're going to give him 8 for rushing touchdowns.
Okay. Well, 8 for rushing touchdowns probably puts JD5 as the clear number 1 because he's going to have the most combo of all of that. And then I would say Lamar's pretty damn good 3rd overall pick. I almost say in that format, Bruce, you almost got to rank them JD5, Josh Allen, and Lamar, or JD5, Lamar, Josh Allen. Burrow's going to get a lot of points there, but damn, that's good. And Bo Nix is fantastic in that format too, bro, because he's going to have way more passing touchdowns than people.
How do you feel about Hurts? How much does that bump Hurts above Burrow?
No. Nope, because Hurts threw for what, 18 touchdowns last year? 19 touchdowns? But Bruce, if you go to your scoring format, and sort by 2024 stats, who ranks 1, 2, 3, 4? Can you do that or no?
I'll try.
All right, do it and call back tonight. Do it and call back tonight.
Okay.
Probably, right?
All right, gotta go. Appreciate you, Bruce. All right, Jack, go ahead. Sorry about the wait, Jack. As quick as you can. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. All good. I'll be quick. So I just wanted to see, like, I'm mainly talking about redraft. I've done a lot of redraft, some basketball, but do you think there's ever, like, you can ever draft, like, I know you all those guys and Hunter. I just want, because I had a few teams where, like, I just can't draft them. It's like
you're cutting out. I haven't heard really anything you said. Say it one more time. Do I think I draft a what?
Yeah.
You
hear me, bro?
We're losing you, bro.
You hear me?
I can hear you right now.
Okay, cool. I'll ask do you think it's
Yeah, Jack, you're cutting it now, bro. Jack, can you type it in?
Okay,
type it in the chat real quick. Type it in the chat. or call back.
I don't have it. I don't have it.
All right, now we hear you. You hear you fine. One more time. One more time. We hear you fine now. One more time. Go.
All right. Okay. I was just saying, like, I've been doing a lot of redrafts recently, and I've been getting a lot of rookies. Like, I can't stop drafting, like, Hendy, Harvey, Hunter, those guys. Do you think there's, like, a limit to how many rookies you get in the team?
No.
No?
I don't. I love rookies, bro. I think ultimately,
this group.
you got to ask yourself this question, Jack. And this is where I'm different than every other person you're ever going to watch. Is I don't care if I go down with the ship and it's burning while it goes down into the ocean. If I believe in a certain set of players and I want to draft those players over and over and over, brute force style, 35-40% saturation across all my underdog teams, I'm willing to accept the consequences. I'm not here to try and tell everybody else to do that, because people then come and blame me. And I don't care, but they just, Smitty lost my league. I drafted all these moon men. I drafted Blue, Fields, Ward, Thornton, Rashard Smith, and Likely all on one team. And then I've got to sit here and go, bro, no one asked you to draft all 7 of the moon men together. You could do that with the Jupiter men. Look at these guys.
The Jupiter men.
Look at
Jupiter is so
Look at
much.
But point is, I'm willing to go down with the ship, bro. And if I believe in the player, I believe in the player. And the truth is, the difference between me and everybody else is that the years, there have been bad years. And I'm not saying overall for the channel, because even when players get hurt, like the Javonte Breece Hall year, those were 2 huge predictions on this channel. They both tore their ACL. It was really depressing when those 2 things happened for me. But we still crushed on so many other levels. But in general, if I go all in on, let's say, a handful of these players that end up getting hurt or something, I'm either going to go down hardcore that year, which I'm totally fine with, or I have these, like an underdog. If I'm drafting, let's say, in 2,000 drafts, I have all these drafts, just hundreds and hundreds of drafts that have the potential to win big money all together, because I'm landing these players in unison, And so you're going to have big years. You're going to have not so big years when you're a balls to the wall type of person. And that's just the way I am. So it's okay. If I land Harvey, Hendy, Hampton, Hunter, even if one of those guys busts or whatever, but I'm getting Mahomes, I'm stacking Mahomes with Knicks, and one of those guys is top 5. And then I've got Bijan, and Bijan is the number 1 overall player. Rice ends up being who he is. Like, all of a sudden, I've got, like, 90% of all my drafts are in prime position. And the variance of each one of those put me in a chance of winning higher than you can imagine. But there are consequences to years where, if Rice gets behind the wheel again, goes and screws us, and then there's a freak injury that happens to a wave of the players that we predict, it happens. You gotta be prepared for the downfall of that, and not just sit there and point fingers at me because of things we can't control. But man, I go all in on some things more than most people could imagine.
I think the upside's higher with them too than, like, I'd rather take, like, shot at Hendy than grab like DJ Moore or something.
Yep.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Yep. Smash the rookies, bro. Later.
Yeah, man.
All right, later. Travis, I'll see you tonight.
Yeah, can I ask you one quick trade question?
Yeah.
It was Jahmyr Chase, Drake May, and Hampton for JD5, London, and Nico. It's a Superflex.
Hampton
Dynasty.
For JD5, London, and Nico.
Yeah.
Scott, no more phone calls. It just said, leave a message at the tone. Chase, May, Hampton for JD5, London, Nico.
Yeah.
JD5, London.
Superflex,
JD5, London, Nico is not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
That's what I thought.
Because JD5 is the number
Figured it
1
out.
overall player. London's top 5 wide receiver material. Nico's, as much as I do draft other players over him at 5 value, he's top 5 material. May's a good quarterback, but he's a whole round later in Superflex. Jahmyr Chase is, in my opinion, Chase and Hampton. The way I look at this is Chase and Hampton are near dead even with London and Nico, because Hampton's far down, Chase is up high. London and Nico are below Chase, but they're both, about the same distance from both Nico and Jahmyr Chase, or I'm sorry, Hampton and Jahmyr Chase, and then you got this overpowering JD5 over May. Very
overwhelmed.
Yeah, very close at first when I look at it, and then I'm you see Chase and you're like,
Chase throws it off because you see Jahmyr Chase. Yeah.
But honestly, is there a world where Jahmyr Chase isn't the Bijan of the wide receivers? As much as we love Jahmyr Chase, he's been injured plenty of times.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Burrow's been injured plenty of times. Yeah. The Bengals have started off seasons where they've been on a total slump for 4 straight games. Jahmyr Chase is not as locked into the one as Bijan is, for RBs. So when I look at London and Nico, I see a world where they can hang with Jahmyr Chase. I'm not saying they do, but there's a world where it happens.
22 and 2023, Chase finished as wide receiver 11 and 12.
Yeah.
So right there.
Yeah. That's why I'm drafting Bijan now, number 1 overall. No matter what.
All right, and I'll jump. Just you have 2 membership chats.
Cool. Thanks, Travis. See you tonight. Later. Soda Lover says, I own Achane. Would you trade Brashard Smith for Jalen Wright? I'd rather a Brashard Smith. If Achane were to go down, Wright's not winning leagues, in my opinion. I'd rather Brashard Smith. Good question, though. And, arguable. Skies, appreciate you. Says, Samson plus a second for Rice. Owen Judkins, take a lap. Sent Samson and a second for Rice. Bro, you get that. I mean, don't be surprised if it gets vetoed. Rice is way more valuable than Samson in a second. So hopefully you get that done, and hopefully it doesn't get vetoed. If you have vetoes. If you don't, great. And don't be surprised if he slams the door on you, though, either, because Rice is a much higher value. 10-team, 1 PPR, keep Neighbors for a 7th or BTJ for a 14th. 7th rounder is still a pretty darn good player. So you got to look at, Mahomes falls there. And Nix. So, Bo Nix and BTJ over just Neighbors. Give me BTJ. Very close, very arguable. I could argue in either direction, to be honest, but I lean toward that BTJ side. I'll see you all tonight. Guys, don't forget, the Patreon is 365 24/7 live chat group. It's starting to get hopping, and every day we get closer to August 1, it's going to get busier and busier and busier. That link has been dropped in the live chat right now. I'm going to go on Patreon right now like I always do. This is the best place to communicate and talk. Hey, everyone. Any post 8 p.m. show topics. And then I just dropped it right there. And so I'm going to live chat with you guys that are on the Patreon. It's such a fun place to be. $10 a month, cancel anytime. Just try it for 1 month. If you don't like it, you spend $10 and you get to chat all month long. So $10 a month, cancel anytime, do it live. See you all at midnight Eastern. This is the 8 p.m. show. I'm live every single Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. I'm additionally live whenever big news breaks, like the earlier video today. And the two or three yesterday. I think there's 3 breaking news shows yesterday. And then we're live at midnight Eastern every single night, pretty much. I'll be live tonight, midnight Eastern, drafting with you all. Make sure you hit that Underdog link in the live chat. See you all on Underdog, or in Underdog drafting environments tonight. But make sure you join the YouTube channel when I go live, because I'll tell you what draft to get in. See you all at midnight Eastern right here on the channel. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that thumb up button on the way out the door. We got 408 total people still in here and only 128 thumbs up. Smash that thumb up button for your boy. If you're on X right now watching, because I did stream to X again tonight, make sure you get over to YouTube and subscribe, because you get the memberships and all that stuff. We have people that gift a lot of memberships on this channel, and so you're going to miss out on getting that gifted membership if you're not logged into YouTube while you're watching. See you all later. Hit that thumb up button. 130 thumbs up. Do it live. Dose. See you tonight. Let's see if Kruger remembers. Kruger, do you remember? Kruger. God, Kruger doesn't work sometimes. Kruger, you know what to do.
You don't watch film on JD5. He watches film on you. How's that? Definitely keep that intensity every time you key me.
Can you yell a little louder, though? Can you, like, get angry almost? And remember to get angry?
You don't watch film on JD5. He watches film on you.
That's perfect, Kruger. Can you lock that in? Remember that. I want that tone. I want you to scream like that every time. Please remember that.
I'll definitely keep that locked in and bring that same intensity every single time.
All right, try it again.
You don't watch film on JD5. He watches film on you.
I love it.
There we go. I'll keep that energy ready for you.
Kruger to the moon. Thanks, pal. All right, see you all later. Appreciate you.